Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I had to do a video because Taylor Swift just announced her 12th studio album, The Life of a Showgirl, and it got me thinking about some Swiftie lore and a specific fan theory because this new album, the color palette is mint green and orange. And a common Swiftie, or I guess fan theory, is that there was actually another orange colored album in Taylor's discography titled Karma. It is also dubbed the Lost Album because it is one that actually never came out, of course, but it was slated to be released after 1989. But because of the Kimye feud, the Kanye-Kim famous song of it all, and the mass cancellation of Taylor that followed, the album was shelved. However, it seemed like Taylor was placing Easter eggs to point fans in the direction of this lost project, and we're gonna get into a lot of them later. There is a very compelling case for it. I mean, I think in some way, shape, or form, there was an album that was supposed to come out that wasn't Reputation, but is it titled Karma? I don't know, and I also wanted to kind of tie it back to The Life of a Showgirl and Taylor's creative process because it's something that I find super, super interesting. After the insane success of 1989, Taylor Swift's 5th studio album, she was expected to back it up with another pop banger of an album. I mean, 1989 was her foray into pop music, and honestly, so many of us call it the pop Bible for a reason. I mean, it is a masterpiece, but fans were really expecting a pop album to follow it up, and like clockwork, Taylor released albums on a 2-year cycle pretty much her entire career up until this point. We also know she plans things so meticulously, so why would there be a difference in the cadence, especially after her best-selling record to date? In early 2016, Kanye West released his album The Life of Pablo, and on it a song titled Famous, where he infamously says these lyrics,
I feel like me and Taylor might still have sex. Why? I made that bitch famous.
Kanye claims that he got permission from Taylor Swift, to which Tree Payne, Taylor's publicist, said that absolutely did not happen. He never called Taylor for approval, he just called her to ask her to release the song early on her Twitter account to drum up hype for the album. And she was never actually made aware of the specific lyrics in which he called her a bitch. So that was the beginning and the groundwork laid for the Kimye and Taylor feud. But separately from that, in the spring of 2016, Taylor Swift debuted her bleached hair. It started at Coachella, where it was famously referred to by everyone, including Taylor, as Bleachella. Bleach, and don't forget the Ella. She also did a Vogue cover shoot with this bleached hair. Vogue cover shoot 2016, You Will Always Be Famous. Seriously, I'm obsessed with the way that she looks. Clearly, she changed her style and wanted to lean into being more mature, more adult. She wore some edgier clothes, did darker makeup, a full smoky eye, and it seemed like she was really beginning a new era because we know that when a pop star specifically wants to start a new era, it begins with a new look. And that is something that Taylor has done specifically with every single one of her albums to date as well. And this was a stark contrast from the Taylor we saw during 1989. She had that blunt bang during 1989. She was wearing a lot of skirts. It was kind of preppy, schoolgirl-ish, I guess. I don't know how to describe the 1989 style, but I know that she wanted to make it very clear that she was transitioning with the way that she was dressing, edgier and more sultry, leading into Coachella, Met Gala, Vogue, all of that stuff. There was a different look to Taylor, and it seemed like she was starting to tease her next album cycle. During this time, we also get her first mention of karma. In her Vogue 73 Questions interview, she was asked specifically what her biggest life lesson was, and she deadpans to the camera and says, karma is real.
What do you think is the most important life lesson for someone to learn?
That karma's real.
That all happened in May, and in June 2016, all hell broke loose. Kim tweeted saying that there was footage of the phone call between Taylor and Kanye, and then ended up releasing footage that was completely edited, but nowhere did Kanye ever tell Taylor that he was going to be putting those lyrics in his songs. There was just a phone call between the two of them, which no one lied about. Tree said there was a conversation between the two, but the lyrics were never mentioned. Kim released a video where the lyrics were also not mentioned, but people were very quick to call Taylor Swift a liar, and then from there it progressively got worse. Taylor responded with a notes app, basically talking about being illegally recorded, which she was because she had no idea Kim was recording Kanye on the phone with her, and she said, but still nowhere in that video did he say, I made that bitch famous, were the lyrics in the song, and tried to get it cleared. But people didn't care. Kim went on to wish everyone a happy National Snake Day on Twitter, referring to Taylor Swift, which spawned the hashtag Taylor Swift is over party, one of the biggest things in Twitter history. It was #1 worldwide, and Taylor was canceled. I mean, it forced her to go into hiding, and she wasn't seen for upwards of a year. There was a lot more to this feud. I don't want to get into it. I mean, this is a whole video on its own. Seriously, it was so crazy the way the public opinion was able to be shifted against Taylor Swift so quickly. Like, looking back, so wild, and I want to do a full video on it because there are so many more details that I can include, but this is about karma and the life of a showgirl, so I don't want to dwell too much on the past, but I want to set the groundwork for why this theory even exists. And as we know, this changed the entire trajectory of Taylor's career. It led her to release Reputation in 2017, and again, fans couldn't help but think there was another project that was slated to come out in 2016 that had to be put to bed because of everything that was happening in the public eye. As I said, Taylor has always been methodical and plans out aesthetics for her albums so far in advance, as well as writing music constantly, so she always has something to go. Of course, depending on circumstances, these things are always subject to change, but she has a basic layout for the way that she wants to roll out new album eras years and years and years in advance. She said it in multiple interviews.
Can I hint at something 3 years in advance? Can I even plan things out that far? I think I'm gonna try to do it.
She's always played the long game and connected eras through Easter eggs, and it seemed like in the spring of 2016, she started to lay some Easter eggs for what was supposed to be the Karma album cycle. Continuing on, Taylor has also fed into this as the years have gone on and Reputation and Lover came out. First, starting with Reputation, in the Look What You Made Me Do music video, she is shown swinging in a cage in a fully orange outfit, which a lot of fans interpreted as this Karma album being locked in a cage, because of course we know what Look What You Made Me Do is about. Also, she sings the lyrics in the music video, All I Think About Is Karma, while in a vault, and that seemed like another Easter egg. That was pretty much it during Reputation, but then in Lover, these theories started to go crazy because of the Man music video. This was after Taylor's catalog had been sold against her will, and Lover was the first album that she released that she actually owned. So in the Man music video, what she did was she has full man prosthetics on, and he's going to the bathroom against a graffiti wall, and it says, "If lost, please return to Taylor," and it's all of her stolen albums. So there's of course 1989, Red, Reputation, Speak Now, Debut, like literally all of them. But there's also 2 instances where it says Karma, one in orange and one in black. And people really took that and ran with it because it seems like that is a stolen album, not because she released it, but because it was stolen by the entire feud that was happening in the public, and it should have been released and it wasn't. Then fans also took a look at the door at the end of the Eras tour. There was always this like orange door that came up on the screen as Taylor was leaving the stage, and during the last show of the tour, she actually exits through rather than down the elevator lift. The entire tour, literally fans thought that it was a nod to this lost album. However, now we know it all ties back to the life of a showgirl, but I want to get into that because there are similarities between this lost album and this new album. She also has a song called Karma on Midnight, and there are some orange nods in the music video, as well as the fact that in the remix music video, Ice Spice is wearing an orange catsuit. So again, like, these are all a lot of Easter eggs. Do I think that there was an album that was supposed to come out that had to get shelved? Yes. But do I fully believe in the karma of it all? I don't know. I also believe that any of the work that she was doing on the 1989 tour and post that before Reputation was also done with Max Martin and Shellback, because that's who she worked on 1989 with, and she also worked with them on Reputation. So it feels natural that some of the ideas that they had for that 6th album prior to Reputation could have been reused and reworked for Reputation, especially like some of the love songs that she had to tweak because the Joe of it all. But like, I think that some of the scraps from Karma or the Lost album were probably used in Reputation. And then Taylor, of course, had to add some color around the feud and her new relationship, so there was probably a little overlap. But I definitely want your thoughts on this because there's so many people that are like diehard Karma truthers, and I want to know if you're one of those people, and if you are, what are some other pieces of evidence that has led you to believe in this wholeheartedly? Now getting into the life of a showgirl. This is my life of a showgirl cosplay. Seriously, I had to, of course, wear the mint sweater the whole time, but Taylor Swift released the photo shoot for this new album, and there are photos of her in a black blunt bob. Gag. But guess who also happened to have a blunt black bob? Me. So I'm putting it on for this. I did go live in this wig on TikTok the other day, but separately from that, let's talk about the life of a showgirl. When Taylor revealed the color scheme to this album before the album cover, because remember, there was the countdown on her website that just announced the title and then you could pre-order it. The orange was enough to sell people on the fact that this could be a reworked version of Karma. Because also, Taylor released a playlist on Spotify titled "And That's Show Business, Baby," and all of the songs that are on it are produced by Max Martin and Shellback, which confirmed to the fans that she worked with Max and Shellback on this new record. I mean, the comparison is there. The Life of a Showgirl is extremely interesting. This title and the way that Taylor described it on New Heights, it's very much about what happened behind the scenes on the Eras Tour, where she was at the peak of her celebrity, an almost untouchable being, and the way that she kind of navigated life as that. Do you want to know the last time that she was at a new height so big in the public eye, getting praised, getting scrutinized? It was during 1989 when she switched over to pop music. At that time, she was so huge. Her star was as big as it had been up until that point. She experimented with pop and struck gold. The 1989 tour was her biggest tour at the time, and seriously, it felt like her celebrity was huge. Of course, we know over time it got bigger, but the way that this Karma album, the Lost album, was written, I believe it to have a lot of the same themes as Life of a Showgirl, because she was also writing the Lost album while she was on the 1989 tour. She was a huge, huge star, and she was getting used to this new pressure and this new scrutiny, being the biggest star in the world, or one of them at that point. So I'm drawing parallels between then and now and trying to kind of think, is there any world where some of the songs from the Lost album were taken, reworked, and reproduced for Life of a Showgirl? I don't know, but it's a fun thing to think about. I also think it's interesting to point out during this time that, similar to the way Reputation threw a wrench in Taylor's long-term plan, it seems like TTPD did that as well. I mean, a situationship with Maddie Healy is going to send you into a crazy spiral, of course. And from the little Taylor gave us during that era, it seemed like she just had to write to save her life, essentially. A lot of Easter eggs during the Midnights era kind of lead us to believe that Life of a Showgirl was actually supposed to come next and TTPD was an exception to the rule. Because in the Bejeweled music video, you can see on the elevator buttons, 11 is orange, and we now know TS11 could have been Life of a Showgirl with the orange coloring had the whole Maddie Healy thing not happened. That Bejeweled music video in general, I think, really alludes to Life of a Showgirl. It was the last music video that we got besides the Karma remix, and it showed us a lot of glitz and glam. I mean, Taylor's doing burlesque with Dita Von Teese. Like, that is very Showgirl-esque. She's dancing in the martini. She kind of has a similar aesthetic in some of the music video scenes that she does now with this new era. So I think it isn't crazy to say that Life of a Showgirl was something that she's been planning for forever. She has liked tweets as well that made it seem like she had been thinking about this for a very long time. But because she hadn't started the Eras Tour until after Midnights came out, I think that she probably knew that this tour was going to be different, but she maybe didn't know how, and she knew that she wanted to explore the idea of celebrity wrapped into like a 1920s glamour package, and the Eras Tour really gave her all of the source material she needed to run with that. Seriously, I'm obsessed. I can't wait, but this has all gotten me thinking about Taylor's creative process and how unique it is, because not a lot of other artists do what she does. She kind of has this way of planning aesthetics very early. She kind of knows what color she wants to use. And specifically for the Life of a Showgirl, a lot of people have talked about the Statue of Liberty and the patina over time, how we got it as copper and now it's this like mint green color because of the wear and tear that it has taken. And the commentary on Taylor's celebrity over the years, it being kind of worn down but also brightened in a way, because now the Statue of Liberty is so identifiable, and maybe it wouldn't have been if it stayed copper. All of this proves she's been one step ahead her entire career. Bringing this back full circle, if she's always been one step ahead, why would there not have been an album slated to be released between 1989 and Lover? I mean, Reputation, we know, is the exception because a lot of the songs on there are about Kim and Kanye. But are the songs that she was writing in the middle tethered to a project titled Karma or something like that with an orange color scheme? That part, I don't know if I'm sold on. It seemed like she had the aesthetic figured out based on the way that she was presenting herself in public at the time. I'm not gonna argue with that. I know that there was a full vibe switch and that was purposeful. But thinking about the theme of the album, why would she have written an album called Karma at that point in her career, if not for the Kim and Kanye thing? I don't know. And I'm asking these questions because I'm just trying to kind of figure it out and talk through it with you guys. I wanted to give you all of the evidence that fans have been talking about for years, and this was all reinvigorated with The Life of a Showgirl, primary color being orange. What are your thoughts? Like, I seriously need to know. Have a great weekend. Are you excited? Like, seriously, tell me what tracks you're claiming in the comments. I cannot wait. If you guys are curious, I'm claiming eldest daughter, father figure, and canceled with an exclamation point. But have a great week. Love you guys. Next week, Sabrina Carpenter video ahead of Man's Best Friend being released, so look forward to that. I made you a little cosplay, who knows. Love you guys, bye.
Me, all I think about is karma.